What if I told you that one of the most profound lessons in science, patience, and even philosophy could start right there, in your kitchen? All it takes is a simple jar, some flour, and a little bit of water. This is the world of sourdough, and we are going to dive right in.
Everything starts with the simplest of tools, right? An empty jar, a total blank slate. But this isn't just about baking, not by a long shot. This is about to become a living, breathing experiment right on your countertop. Because what happens inside that little jar is a tiny version of a much bigger story. It's a story about teamwork, about transformation, and, believe it or not, about learning to just let go.
I love this quote from Dr. Alan Johnson. It really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. See, this isn't just a recipe you follow, it's a practice. It teaches you something really fundamental about how we fit into the world, and it goes so much deeper than a simple loaf of bread.
Okay, so to really get this, we need to go back. I mean, way, way back. Sourdough is not some new, trendy thing. It's an ancient technology, a partnership between us and microbes that predates just about everything we think of as modern civilization.
So just take a look at this timeline. For almost 10,000 years, people were baking with this invisible world of microbes without even knowing it existed. Then, in the 1860s, commercial yeast came along and tried to make everything uniform, predictable. But now it feels like we've come full circle. Home bakers like you and me are becoming citizen scientists, figuring out this ancient art all over again.
And that's the coolest part. You can do this. You can turn your kitchen into a personal laboratory and grow your very own ecosystem. I love what some people call it, a microbial zoo.
And you can forget about complex lab equipment. Seriously, all you need is a jar, some flour, water, and a spoon. That is it. With just that, you're ready to start an experiment that literally connects you to a 10,000-year-old tradition.
So, day one is unbelievably simple. You just mix equal parts flour and water to make a paste. Mark its height, that's your baseline data, your starting point. Cover it up so it can breathe but nothing weird gets in, and then you wait. The magic is just about to start.
So while you're waiting, what is actually going on in there? Well, this is the part where that sticky glob of flour and water starts to transform into like a bustling city of microscopic life.
That little environment you've created, that simple paste, it's basically a perfect home for wild microorganisms that are already in the air and on the flour to just move in and set up shop. So the big question is, who are the main residents?
Well, think of it like a team with two star players. First up, you've got yeast. These are the lifters. They eat sugars and burp out carbon dioxide gas. That's what creates all the bubbles that make your bread light and airy. Then you've got lactic acid bacteria. They're the protectors and the flavor makers. They produce acids that give you that classic sour taste, and, more importantly, they make the whole environment too acidic for bad microbes to survive.
And here's a look at one of our key players up close. This is Saccharomyces cerevisiae, a super common baking yeast. This is just one of many kinds of yeast that might decide to move into your starter. It's a living thing, a real partner in this whole process.
So, every single day when you check on your starter, you're not just a baker. Nope, you're an ecologist. You're a citizen scientist, and you're watching and recording the changes in this amazing living system. And your two main data points are so simple but so powerful. Measuring the height, that tells you how active your yeast are. The more it rises, the more gas they're producing. And measuring the pH with simple test strips, that tells you how busy the bacteria are. You are literally watching an ecosystem build itself using data. How cool is that?
So, over a week or two, you're going to see a process that scientists call succession. Think of it like a competition. Different microbes battle it out, and eventually, a stable, mature ecosystem takes over. This is called the climax community, a balanced team of the strongest yeast and bacteria that work together perfectly. You're not just mixing ingredients, you're cultivating a community, and that stability is the secret to getting great bread every time.
But this whole process goes way beyond just science. This cycle of waiting and watching and nurturing, it offers some really profound lessons that have almost nothing to do with baking and everything to do with how we live our lives.
This quote just nails it. We live in a world that demands instant gratification for everything. But sourdough? It just refuses to be rushed. It works on its own microbial timeline, It actually forces you to slow down,
to pay attention, and to just wait.
And through that waiting, you learn some really powerful things. You learn that control is totally an illusion. Your starter is going to do what it's going to do. And those days when it doesn't rise or the loaf comes out like a brick, that's not a failure. That's a lesson in just rolling with it. And you find out that those flat, dense, maybe even burnt loaves, they're not mistakes, they're data. They are your absolute best teachers on this journey.
So when you finally take that healthy, bubbly starter and you're ready to bake your first loaf, you're bringing all of it together, the science and the philosophy, into this one amazing, tangible thing. I mean, look at this. This ball of dough isn't just flour and water anymore. It's a living ecosystem that you cultivated. It's the end result of a collaboration between you and an entire invisible world of microorganisms. And that, right there, is the ultimate takeaway. The finished loaf is proof of your patience. It's physical evidence of a successful experiment. It's the result of a partnership you built with nature. It's an education you can hold in your hands. And the best part is, you get to eat it.
So yeah, the sourdough journey turns your kitchen into a classroom, your oven into a lab, and the whole process into a teacher. It's a hands-on education in biology, chemistry, and even mindfulness. So the only question left is, what will you discover?